Oklahoma voters head to the polls. We have team coverage across the country, plus a change in the temperatures is on the way. This is OU Nightly. Well, people lined up early across the nation today to make their own voices heard on this 2018 midterm election day, including current Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin casting her ballot. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly on this election day. I'm Cal Day.
And I'm Kelsey Hovanetz. In just a few hours, we will know who will be the next governor of Oklahoma, along with several other offices. OU Nightly brings you team coverage tonight. In a few minutes, we'll hear from Storme Jones in Washington, D.C. But right now, we have Sam Brown and Sammi Steele live at two polling places here in the metro area. Let's start with Sammi in South Oklahoma City. Sammi, how's turnout where you are?
Cal and Kelsey, I'm here at Southern Hills Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, where it's getting more and more crowded by the minute. I spoke to Oklahoma County's election board, and they say this year voter turnout has been especially high for it being a midterm season. Now, they want to remind voters before they head to the polls a few things. Anticipate long lines. Now that the workday is over, voters should prepare. Polls close at 7 p.m. They must be in line in order for their vote to be eligible. Another thing they want to make sure voters remember is to know the specific polling place they're required to vote at. If you don't know this information, you can visit the election board's website. Also, understand the law. You can't wear campaign pins or promote any specific candidate within 300 feet of the ballot. If you do, it is a misdemeanor. And Cal and Kelsey, remember to bring a form of identification. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Sammi. Now we're joined by OU Nightly's Sam Brown, who is here in Cleveland County. Sam, what's it looking like out there?
Hey guys, I'm here outside University Lutheran Church here in Norman, about a 2-minute walk from OU's campus. I've been here for about an hour and a half. There's been a pretty steady and consistent flow of students coming in and out of this church to vote. Now, there are actually two precincts reporting here due to some pre-location issues, one right here and then one farther back inside the church. I spoke to volunteers at both. They said as a whole, about 750 people have come to vote today, and about a third of those have been students. Now, obviously, that doesn't really take into consideration students voting in other precincts or other counties or maybe even filling absentee ballots, but still very good signs as there's a consistent flow, especially recently. Classes are starting to wrap up. People are starting to end their workday. So definitely expect to see a lot more action around here as the day winds down and we approach that 7 o'clock deadline. Reporting live outside University Lutheran Church, Sam Brown, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Sam. Early voting in the Sooner State was on the verge of breaking records this year. More than 165,000 Oklahomans voted early or by mail, according to the state election board. That's more than double the early turnout in 2014's general election.
And state question 798 is one of 5 questions appearing on today's ballot. OU Nightly's Emily Dunford digs deeper into what will happen if it's passed.
State question 798 allows voters to cast one vote for both governor and lieutenant governor. Requiring the candidates to run on the same ticket would prevent them from being from different parties. Those in favor of 798 hope the change would allow officials to coordinate better, as well as improve efficiency at the polls.
Well, the league has come out in favor of it. The one argument against it is that it takes one of our choices away.
The process, it would be potentially very problematic if you had a governor and lieutenant governor who had sort of different agendas.
We think that if they run on a single ticket, they can work together better as a team and it will strengthen the executive branch.
This same process is currently being utilized in 26 states across the U.S.
There are currently no parties in opposition of this state question.
And amidst the excitement of Election Day, some long lines and malfunctioning machines marred the first few hours of voting in some U.S. precincts. Voters in Georgia reported waiting over 3 hours in lines of over 100 people. Broken ballot scanners were reported in New York City, Brooklyn, and Rhode Island this morning as well.
And Kelsey, I got to go out and vote earlier today, and it's absolutely beautiful weather out there.
It sure was, Cal. Well, meteorologist Trey is here to tell us if these mild temps are here to stick around. Trey.
Yeah, guys, it was beautiful today. Hopefully that encouraged a lot more people to get out to the polls and vote today, but that beautiful weather is coming to a close tonight. Here's temperatures by this evening, lower 60s in southern Oklahoma, but in the 40s already in northern Oklahoma. And as we progress through the evening hours, those temperatures will continue to decrease, and by the morning we'll be in the lower 40s for lows. Upper 40s for lows, so much colder. Cold front tonight. First freeze for Norman is ahead as well, and snow for some of us. I'll have that forecast and main weather back to you guys at the desk.
And thanks, Trey. Well, a few unusual sights around the country on this election day. Some traditions, some never seen before. In Rochester, New York, women of all ages are visiting Susan B. Anthony's grave site after they voted. They're leaving their I voted stickers on her tombstone. It was 146 years ago that Anthony made history for illegally casting her ballot on Election Day. It wasn't until after her death that women gained the right to vote.
And students across the country got a hands-on civics lesson Tuesday when they walked out of class to vote. More than 25 youth-led activist groups joined together to launch the Walk Out to Vote campaign. The campaign encouraged students to leave school to cast their ballots. This group in Wisconsin was one of the first to walk out. More than 500 high school and colleges planned to participate.
They're getting a little crazy with this vote. In the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb South Lake, crowds got their groove on in front of City Hall. This group dancing to show their support for Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke. He's taking on incumbent Ted Cruz in what's expected to be a very close race.
And on this election day, new developments in the case of the serial mail bomber. We'll tell you what happened when he appeared in court today coming up.
And voters continue to line up at the polls around Norman. OU Nightly's team coverage of Election Day 2018 continues in a moment.
Welcome back. Storm Jones continues our team coverage of Election Day in Washington, D.C. Hey, Storm.
And good evening from Washington tonight on this midterm election night. Now, voters are making their last runs to the polls before they close, but nearly 38 million voters have already voted across the country. That is mail-in ballots and in-person early voting. Now, we know early voters tend to be more liberal and they tend to be younger. Good signs for the Democrats so far. Now, as voters are leaving polls today, pollsters have been asking them questions. And the important thing to listen to tonight as we get those exit poll results are voters saying they were thinking of health care when they were voting. If so, that's a good sign for Republicans. If they're saying they were, health care is a good sign for Democrats, that is. If they tell pollsters they were thinking of immigration, that is a good sign for those are backwards. If it's healthcare, it's a good sign for Democrats. Immigration, good sign for Republicans. Now, taking a national look, stepping back and getting some historical context to the midterm election tonight. After a presidential election, the first midterm, the president's party always loses seats. On average, it's about 30 seats in that first midterm. When the president's approval ratings are below 50%, the president's party loses an average of 37 seats. Now, President Trump's approval rating right now is about 46%, and the Democrats only need to net 23 seats. That is well within the historical probability or likelihood for the Democrats. Now, that's looking at the House. Taking a look at the Senate races we're watching tonight, Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz down in Texas. Everyone in Oklahoma very familiar with that race. Arizona, Nevada, Mississippi, Tennessee, Indiana. Also Heidi Heitkamp, Senator Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota, still fighting to maintain her seat after she voted against Judge Brett Kavanaugh. That hurt her in her polls. Now, the big question tonight, how much of a factor will President Trump play in these midterm elections? Midterms are often referred to as a referendum on the president, and President Trump has embraced that. He's went to 53 different campaign events across 23 states, campaigning for senators and representatives across the country. He has fully embraced that and will consider tonight's results a reflection on his first 2 years in office. Now, we will be watching these results as they come in across the country. I'll be joining live special coverage right outside the United States Capitol tonight as the picture becomes more clear. In Washington, D.C., Storm Jones, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Storm. Now I'll look at a few other stories making national headlines this election day. Abby Green is in the News Center. Abby.
Thanks, Kelsey. The man accused of sending pipe bombs, Cesar Sayok, is being held without bail following his court appearance today. Sayok was accused of sending multiple explosive devices to several Democrats, Trump critics, and media outlets. He was arrested outside an auto parts store in South Florida and will face 50 years in prison if he is convicted. Sayok is scheduled to return for a preliminary hearing on Monday. The United States Olympic Committee is working to decertify USA Gymnastics as the governing body for the sport at the Olympic level. The decision was made in the wake of the sexual abuse scandal involving former team doctor Larry Nassar. By making the move to decertify USA Gymnastics, USOC is taking action against an organization that didn't grasp control over its rebuilding. The federal law that governs the USOC will have the final say on which organizations represent each sport in the Olympics. A UFO spotted moving throughout the solar system last year may have been an alien spacecraft sent to investigate Earth. The object was discovered in October of 2017 by a telescope in Hawaii. Scientists have been investigating the unusual features and origins since it was discovered and deemed it a new class of interstellar objects. The UFO is still being researched and no origin has been identified so far. And Amazon plans to finish its search for a second headquarters by the end of the year.
Thank you, Abby. Well, it was a night to remember in Pittsburgh. Find out why last night was more than just a game.
Plus, meteorologist Trey is tracking a big change in our weather.
Yeah, guys, it was beautiful today, but colder weather is on the way. I'll have more after the break. Good evening, Oklahoma. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Trey Bell. Here is a view of downtown Norman from our Norman cam. This is live right now. Plenty of abundant sunshine. It's 70 degrees right now. That temperature is falling as a cold front is beginning to approach central Oklahoma. Winds are light out of the east, and dew point is also low, so that humidity will be low. It will feel dry when you walk outside. So we've talked about future temperatures and first weather. Let's break it down a little further. Heading throughout the day tomorrow, high tomorrow of only 51 degrees, so very chilly compared to today. And progressing even further, 40s for lows as we wake up Thursday morning, and then Friday morning even colder, near freezing, 34 degrees Friday morning. So definitely bundle up as you're heading to class then. So radar and satellite, here's future view. We do have rain chances on Wednesday. So as we progress through the day tomorrow, clouds will build across the state, as well as tomorrow evening, showers will begin to develop. And by Thursday morning, a large area of showers in northwestern Oklahoma that will expand to the southeast throughout the day. And notice here this blue right at the Oklahoma-Kansas border, that is snow. So portions of northern Oklahoma could see a little bit of snowfall Thursday afternoon and into Thursday evening. Reinforcing cold front moves through, takes those clouds and those showers out of here, and we'll have much more sunshine on Friday. So future rainfall totals, rainfall will be light. Highest totals in northeastern Oklahoma, about 0.4 of an inch. And then snowfall in northwestern Oklahoma. Yes, snow. We're getting into that time of year. Northwestern Oklahoma, just about under an inch. The darker colors are higher totals, but in terms of travel conditions, ground temperatures are rather warm, so any snow that does stick to the ground will not stay very long. It will quickly melt. Election coverage forecast. If you're joining OU Nightly tonight for the election coverage, here is your forecast. Temperatures will be falling through the evening, and those skies will remain partly to mostly cloudy, and winds will be out of the northeast. So lows tonight, 47 in the morning. Highs tomorrow, 51 in Norman and in Oklahoma City. And then your 2-day forecast, cold, mostly cloudy tomorrow, and then rain will move in on Thursday, and that cold weather continues really through the weekend and into next week. So we're putting fall to the side for a little bit, and we're now switching gears, and it's starting to feel like winter here in Oklahoma.
Dang, so it sounds like it'll be pretty chilly this weekend for the big game.
Yes, definitely. Be sure to bundle up at the Bedlam game this weekend.
I just think that's crazy. Today I'm out there voting. It feels so good out, and then you're saying the S word. You're throwing snow around later this week.
Snow is coming. It's crazy.
But with that first freeze coming, what's that do for people that have allergy problems?
So that will actually help. It will cause the pollen rates to decrease because it will cause any outstanding plants that are still pollinating or doing their thing. It will cause them to go dormant quicker. So that will definitely help with allergy problems.
That's something I can get behind. Thank you very much, Trey.
Of course.
And Karbs joins us now as the Sooners prepare for a big-time rivalry game.
The Sooners are preparing for Bedlam, plus the Thunder avoided a scary situation last night. Sports is next. It's finally that time of the year, the biggest showdown in Oklahoma. Bedlam Week is officially here, and last night we had 2 football stars visit the set of Sooner Sports Pad. The show will re-air right here after the newscast. Grant Calcaterra and Trey Sermon dropped by Studio D to spend time with the show hosts. They covered the win last weekend against Texas Tech, and earlier in the day talked about Bedlam.
They got some good returning guys. Number one especially. I mean, he's a great guy. He's really long, powerful, a good speed rusher as well. They got a couple guys in secondary that's pretty good too. So I mean, I feel like we just have to really just be focusing into the game and be prepared.
Speaking of Bedlam, it's time for Sydney Forsee to tell us what she foresees this Saturday. Sydney.
Thanks, Kara. The Sooners meet up with their hated rivals from the north this weekend. And what are the chances of the Pokes pulling through for a win? Heard it from the mullet man yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I foresee the Sooners dominating the game at the Palace on the Prairie this Saturday. And the Dallas Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett has been in the hot seat for a while now, and the team's loss against the Tennessee Titans yesterday didn't help Garrett's cause either. Hate to say this, Cowboys fans, but I foresee the Garrett era coming to an end in Dallas very soon. And I don't foresee the Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell returning to the team anytime soon. He has already given up $9 million by sitting out for the first half of the season, and I find it highly unlikely for Bell to return to the final 8 games, especially when he'll only get $5 million. And while $5 million may not sound like a lot to Bell, I will definitely take the money if he won't. But that's what I foresee in sports right now. Back to you at the desk, Kara.
OU women's basketball kicked off the season last night in their preseason opener against Northeastern State. The Sooners dominated the Riverhawks 119-45, with sophomore Shayna Pellington leading the way with 33 points. However, all 12 Sooners scored last night, adding another win for the Sooners under Sooners head coach Sherry Cole. And the Thunder fans got quite the scare last night when Russell Westbrook injured his left ankle. Luckily, x-rays came back negative as it turned out to just be a sprain. Russ will be out for tomorrow's game but isn't expected to miss much time. Paul George and co. managed to rally around their injured star to top New Orleans 122-116. And Dallas woes continue as Tennessee came into Jerry World and got the win. The game was Amari Cooper's debut, but it wasn't enough as they would fall to the Titans 28-14. The Cowboys are now 3-5 on the season. In a script not even Hollywood could write, New Jersey's Devils' Brian Boyle found out a week ago he was in remission from leukemia. Last night he recorded his first hat trick on the road in Pittsburgh. To make the night even more special, the game was Pittsburgh's Hockey Fights Cancer Awareness Night. Yeah, guys, I thought it was really cool that happened on Cancer Awareness Night.
Dang, what a cool story.
I know.
That is really neat. That's one of the reasons everybody loves sports, is for stories like that.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Thank you very much, Kara.
For sure. Well, with just a few hours left to cast your ballot, some creative ways for voters to get to the polls.
I'm Candace Coonrod at the update desk. An Oklahoma City man has been arrested on a complaint of threatening to kill with explosives. Amir Ahmad Naya Bayazdi was spotted taking unusual photos at the Oklahoma Memorial Museum. He is also quoted on voice message to his sister in Iran, stating that hundreds are going to die in Oklahoma City. Police said he admitted leaving the message but denied making any explosive devices. Naya Bayazdi is being held in Oklahoma County Jail without bail. Back to you, Cal and Kelsey.
Thanks, Candace. Well, New York City voters have no reason not to hit the polls. Take a look at this. A double-decker bus in New York City reading "Get in, loser, we're going voting" is taking voters to the polls.
And if you haven't voted yet, there is still time left to get out to the polls this evening. Rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft are offering discounted rides to polling locations today. Additionally, CART is offering free bus rides to the polls in Norman until 10 p.m. And tonight, we invite you to join us for a special election edition of OU Nightly beginning at 8 o'clock. We will be updating you on numbers as they pour in.
Plus, we'll have reporters live at the GOP and Democratic watch parties. We'll also have more from Storme Jones in Washington and coverage of state questions and a race many OU students are keeping an eye on, the Texas Senate race. You can also watch live on the OU Nightly Facebook page.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. And thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night, live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.